The morning sun bathed the sleek cars in the dealership lot, their polished surfaces gleaming under the bright sky. Inside the glass-walled showroom of Sterling Auto Group, salesmen stood poised, their sharp suits and practiced smiles a staple of the business. Every movement, every handshake, every offer was meticulously calculated to maximize profit. It was just another busy day, except today was different. Among the customers browsing the lot was a man who blended effortlessly into the crowd, dressed in worn jeans and a simple button-down shirt. He exuded an easygoing demeanor that suggested he wasn't looking for anything extravagant. To the sales staff, he was just another middle-aged man shopping for a car. What they didn't know was that this man, Jonathan Sterling, owned the entire dealership chain. Jonathan had built Sterling Auto Group from the ground up, expanding it across multiple states with a reputation for fair prices and quality service. But as his company grew, so did the distance between him and its daily operations. Recently, troubling reports had reached his ears, complaints about pushy sales tactics, unfair trade-in deals, and deceptive pricing. On paper, everything seemed fine. Reports from his managers painted a picture of smooth operations and satisfied customers. But Jonathan knew better. Numbers didn't tell the full story, people did. Today, he had come undercover, not as a CEO, but as a customer, not just to observe, but to experience firsthand how his employees treated people when they thought no one was watching. As he wandered past rows of gleaming cars, running his fingers along the hoods, a salesman quickly took notice and approached with a confident grin. "Good morning, sir. Looking for something in particular?" Jonathan smiled, playing his part. "Yeah, I'm in the market for something reliable. Maybe a used sedan. Nothing too fancy." The salesman nodded enthusiastically. "We've got some great options. Let me show you what we have." Jonathan followed, nodding along to the sales pitch. But his attention was elsewhere. Years of experience had trained him to pick up on subtle details, the nervous glances of employees, the body language of customers, the conversations happening in hushed tones. Then he heard it. "Please, isn't there anything else you can do?" A woman's trembling voice carried across the showroom. Jonathan turned slightly, his eyes landing on an elderly couple standing at the trade-in desk. The man, tall but slightly hunched with age, had silver hair neatly combed back. His wife stood beside him, gripping his hand, her face lined with worry. Their car, a well-kept but older sedan, sat parked outside, looking out of place among the dealership's newer models. Behind the counter stood Mitchell Harris, the dealership's sales manager, a man who prided himself on securing high-profit deals. Mitchell's cold, impatient tone made it clear he had no interest in sympathy. "I'm sorry," he said with a practiced shrug. "This is the best I can do. That car isn't worth much. Honestly, you're lucky I'm offering this much." Jonathan stepped closer, pretending to inspect a nearby car while listening intently. The elderly woman wiped at her eyes. "But this car belonged to our son. He passed away last year. We kept it as long as we could, but we just can't afford the repairs anymore." Jonathan's chest tightened. Mitchell sighed dramatically. "Look, I understand this is emotional for you, but sentimental value doesn't add dollars to an appraisal. The market price is the market price." The woman's lower lip quivered. "It's not just a car to us. It's the last piece of him we have." Her husband squeezed her hand, his jaw tightening. He was trying to stay strong, but it was clear this decision was breaking them. Mitchell, however, remained unmoved. "The offer stands at $2,000. That's already generous, considering the mileage and wear. If you want to move forward, we can do the paperwork now. Otherwise," he gestured toward the exit. Jonathan felt his blood pressure rise. This wasn't just a bad deal. It was predatory. He stepped forward. "Excuse me, what's going on here?" Mitchell turned, clearly annoyed by the interruption. "Sir, this is a private discussion." Jonathan kept his expression neutral. "I'm sorry to intrude, but I couldn't help overhearing. I'm actually in the market for a car myself, and that sedan caught my eye." The elderly couple looked at him in surprise, while Mitchell's eyes narrowed. "It's not for sale. It's being traded in." Jonathan rubbed his chin thoughtfully. I might be interested in buying it directly. What's the trade-in value? Mitchell hesitated. 2,000. Jonathan raised an eyebrow. That's it? For a car in that condition? Mitchell's expression darkened. It's an old model, and with that mileage, I'll offer $5,000. The room fell silent. The elderly couple gasped. Oh no, we couldn't. Jonathan held up a hand. Let's talk outside. Outside, away from Mitchell's prying eyes. The couple shared their story. Their son had been a firefighter, a hero in their community. His car had been his pride and joy. And after he passed away in the line of duty, they couldn't bear to part with it. But with medical bills piling up and their own health failing, they had no choice but to trade it in for something more manageable. Jonathan nodded, taking it all in. I'll buy the car from you, but not for trade-in. The elderly man, Henry Carter, furrowed his brow. Then why? Jonathan smiled. Because I don't want it to end up on a resale lot. I'll restore it. Keep it in his memory. The woman's eyes welled with tears. You would do that? Jonathan reached into his pocket and pulled out his checkbook. It's not just a car. It's a legacy. Mitchell stormed outside just as Jonathan handed them the check. You can't just... Jonathan turned to him, his expression unreadable. We'll talk later. Mitchell. A long conversation about how you run things here. Mitchell froze, suddenly uneasy. Something about Jonathan's tone sent a ripple of fear through him. He didn't yet realize who he was dealing with. As the elderly couple walked away, grateful and emotional, Mitchell's fury erupted. What the hell do you think you're doing? Jonathan remained calm. Helping a customer. Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Mitchell scoffed. That's not how this works. You just cost this dealership thousands of dollars. And you undermined my authority. Jonathan arched an eyebrow. Authority? I didn't realize your job was to squeeze every last dime out of grieving parents. Mitchell's eyes flashed dangerously. Look, I don't know who you think you are. Jonathan took a deliberate step forward, his entire demeanor shifting. His voice turned cold, commanding. I own this dealership. The words landed like a bomb. Mitchell's face went slack, his brain struggling to process the revelation. What? He finally choked out. Jonathan pulled a business card from his pocket, holding it up between two fingers. It bore his full name and the Sterling Auto Group logo. I'm Jonathan Sterling, the CEO, the man who built this company. The entire showroom fell silent. And I just watched you disrespect these customers, lie about their car's value, and act like this place is a scam operation. Mitchell stammered, searching for a response. But the damage was done. Jonathan exhaled slowly. You're fired.